Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to episode 2 of the Kuehl Show, Talk Show Tuesday. And Ty, I'm going to start off right now. We're in a weird time of hockey.
Explain.
Well, I want to talk about it because it kind of... You got to feel bad for the guy. We're talking about, well... Yes, there's been a string of hits and a string of suspensions and not suspensions in the NHL.
No, there's only one non-suspension, but we'll get.
Well, there's one.
But we'll get to that. I gotta do that.
The main point is the Andrew Cogliano hit on was it Adrian Kempe?
Adrian Kempe. He's actually my left winger in my Be a Pro mode. Yeah. Because I play for the Ontario Reign. Because I got drafted.
Wrong Ontario. But Cogliano issued 2-game suspension, breaking the Iron Man streak that he had of 830 games.
He was 139. He was literally a season, almost like a season and 2/3 or whatever, from breaking Doug Jarvis's record. He could have played 1,000 games.
Oh, he could have. He was actually, let me do the math, 134 games away.
Yeah, so...
If he played continuously, 134 games.
That's literally a season and a half, or under a season and a half. So we're talking, by the end of next year...
If he played the playoffs this season, and the playoffs next season,
the Ducks got to make it there first.
That's true.
Ducks got to be there first, but here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to put my coffee down, because I got to say this. We've watched Cogliano forever. He's a Michigan boy.
Played
for the Wolverines. He's a red bear. He's a red boy.
He's a great player.
He's fast.
He's just... Overall, if the Toronto Maple Leafs or any organization has him, obviously the Anaheim Ducks,
they're fortunate.
They are very fortunate, and they just had what was the extension? 3 years, 3.5.
Okay, so 2 days before the suspension or before the hit? Oh, let me have it on the
hit.
Hockey Twitter.
It was before the hit.
So the hit happened on the so a day or two before he gets a contract extension. 3 years, 3.25, which is that's per year. 3.25 per year.
Yep, per year. That's a pretty generous pay raise for him.
It's a raise, but for guys of his caliber, that is good for him.
Yeah, he deserves that.
And it sucks because the way the play happens, I call it a rock'em sock'em special.
Go on.
Just you watch, on YouTube. You can find him on YouTube, or if you're a devoted can't speak today.
Don Cherry fan.
Devoted Don Cherry fan, you have the Rock'em Sock'em. And if you watch, old Scott Stevens or, Wendell Clark, a guy admiring his pass over, looking over, and just blindsided. And the thing is, Cogliano said it wasn't awful.
It was a different time then, though.
Well, yes, it was a different time then, I'll admit. That's why I call it a Rock'em Sock'em special. That's Don Cherry special.
Rule 48, I think it is.
Is it?
I want to say it's 48.
Oh, gosh, we've gone over this one. It's 38, 48.
I think it's 48. I think I saw it today.
Rule 48. Rule 48, and it stinks because if you watch the hit again, we'd love to put it up on the screen for you, but we're not quite.
We'll send a link to the Sportsnet.
We'll have for all the hits.
For all the hits, we'll put links in the description box below.
Do we really want to go to the Maroon hit? Is that really necessary? You think?
I want to do all three.
You want to do all three? Okay. So the Cogliano hit, Kempe passed the puck, and you can see Cogliano. Cogliano is not a big guy. He's shorter than both of us.
Yeah.
And
he's about 5'11".
He comes across, and you can see he's just finishing a check, finishing the guy, and you can.
And mind you, Cogliano's the one that's coming across the.
Kempe's going up the ice. Cogliano's coming across, and he gives him a shot, and you see Kempe. He turns. I'm not saying Kempe is the reason why this happened, but he turned. If Kempe had been going straight, he would have been hitting the chest, shoulder, whatever. But he turns a little bit and kind of leans like this, and that's when he catches him in the chin and the nose.
Yeah.
And it stinks because it's painful to watch because as soon as the hit happens, and you're like, well, there goes he's getting suspended.
Yeah, there's
no.
It wasn't blatant contact to the head. However, the initial point of contact was to the chin of Adrian Kempe, and you could tell. I mean, the reason why he turned in that way was because Kempe was trying to get a blade into going to the.
He was trying to go to the net. He was trying to go to the net, and Cogliano was finishing his check.
Great way to play for Kempe, just going to the front of the net, and then obviously. At that point, Andrew Cog, that was a late hit.
It's that split. No, here's the thing.
It was a late hit.
And here's the thing. Everyone at home will probably sit there and like, oh, why don't you just avoid hitting him? Why don't you? It's that split second. It's that slight animalistic tendency we all have. That
he had the puck. I gotta hit him. Bam.
It's just like you see it and you do it, and then right after you do it, you're like, oh, crap. It's like that thing when you like, hey, you get mad, you get fired up, and you try to avoid it, but then you just say one thing and boom, everyone digs. Like, that's what happened. That's not Cogliano. Cogliano's he's not a physical player. He's a hard-working guy. But
he's a hard-working player.
He's not a cheap shot artist.
No,
he won't go after you.
I'll say this right now. Cogliano, I respect him for how he plays because he's a hard worker. He goes to the front of the net all the time. He knows when to hit and how to hit. You can tell him you can show that I don't believe he's had a boarding penalty in the past 7 years that he's played. I want to say that. Hold on. But let me finish my point here. He is smart how he plays, though. He plays hard, but he plays smart.
Well, obviously, that's why he's been able to play for 830 consecutive games. I'm trying to say, I don't remember the last time. When was the last game he missed? And I am not going to take the time to look that up because that's going to probably take a while. Because the way NHL.com works,
or tsn.ca.
That's why you go to Sportsnet, buddy.
Yeah,
we're not getting hired by either, so it doesn't matter.
I'm not. You might.
Yeah. So. And it just stinks the way that happened, but that kind of leads into our second one because that hits 2 games, and it's only 2 games because he's a first-time offender.
Yep, first-time offender.
That'll lead into
he's not had any. Well, I want to say this before we go on away from the Cogliano hit. Ty Domi did make a tweet.
Okay, don't forget, guys. This is Ty Domi. I love him to death, but
he's
asterisk next to this. Put an asterisk next to this.
It's like having Gary Bettman on your side in a labor dispute. It's not very good.
It's not good. It's like, yeah.
Ty Domi wrote, and I quote, "Wow, just saw the replay. Definitely not worth a suspension. Definitely not worth breaking a record for a guy playing 830 games straight. Definitely an important record that is important to acknowledge. Definitely Andrew Cogliano gets respect from current and ex-players."
That's my problem. Is that people see that and like, oh, could they've taken a pass? No, it's like saying, it's the Gretzky. It's the Gretzky in '93. I will get into this. I will get heated. Gretzky slashes one guy. Carey doesn't see it. BS. The other linesman, he was at the other end, didn't see it, but the lines was right there. He said, it's I don't know. Carey, it's Gretzky. We can't do it. We can't call it. We can't give him a 5 in a game. Because that would have only, I don't know, got the Leafs to the finals, so it would have been Montreal and Toronto. Wouldn't that have been a series?
It's like
sure we weren't alive yet, but I don't care. That would have been a great series to look back on.
That linesman is that one nervous kid that knows the answer, but is afraid to like say something about it. Like he's sitting in the middle of the class and he's about to raise his hand, and then the next person next to him's like, no, down.
Exactly. I'm like, and here's the funny thing is like Carey's like, oh, I would have called it if I saw bull. Carey, you would not have called it. I will fight you to the day I die. You would never have called that.
Yeah, Jeff Blair, he's the host of Sportsnet 590 The Fan. His funny quote was that in this situation like this, you have to think that a hit to the head is a hit to the head, even if Jesus delivers it to you. And obviously, nobody wants to see a record like that. 830 games.
I wouldn't want to get hit by Jesus either. That guy comes in like a rock.
He's a pretty skinny dude.
With the power of God coming at you.
I mean, he was pretty skinny after he had the tar thrown on him. Anyways,
you are the worst.
I am the worst. If we were in a German pub and everyone was hungry, I'd be the worst.
You went to a German pub once.
I did. And it was amazing.
Yeah, you got your Bayern Munich fans. Dortmund all the way.
Woo!
Yeah, Dortmund. Iron Robin's overrated. I said it. Oh, the German fans that we have. We don't even have American fans outside of our parents.
We got one.
No,
first subscriber.
Matt Pullman. Matt, you're our guy. He's from Oakville. He's not even from America.
Oh.
I mean, I don't care. I mean,
first Canadian fan. All right.
Yeah, first non-fan that's Mom or you.
Shut up. I like watching the videos. Gets the views up.
Okay, so now let's get into this one.
Are we want to do the
we'll talk about
Maroon hit or the Giordano hit?
Maroon hit's another thing with like the split second. You see the play, and even Doughty said it. Maroon's not that type of player. Yeah, he caught Doughty high. It's that split second, fast pace. It happens.
Yeah, Doughty didn't have any sort of like heavy injuries. Obviously, he went right to the locker room after the incident. But
gotta go to the dark room.
But Doughty obviously He in an interview, he forgave him everything. He knows he's been good friends with Maroon for the past years that they played. Well, yeah, a long time actually. And Maroon was suspended 2 games. We'll also leave a link to that video in the description box.
Maroon only got 2 games for that.
Right. So both of those were 2 games, and now we're going to
we're going into
the Mark Giordano hit
gong show that is the National Hockey League. We're gonna have an episode one of these times, and it ain't gonna be half an hour. It's going to be 3 hours of me ranting about the NHL and just...
Maybe we'll do that as the...
That'll be our end of the year special.
The end of the year special?
Yes. No, when Tampa beats Nashville for the Stanley Cup.
How about we do that like a week after the Stanley Cup or whatever?
That'd be it. Yeah, the end of the year special.
No, it's the end of the season special.
It's the end of the year. It's the 5th season. Scotiabank. Don't you get it? Anyways... So Giordano, Mark, if anyone hasn't seen it yet, we'll obviously have it down here. Down here, right? It's down here.
We talked about this before. It's down here. It's over there.
Wherever you are, you can look in the description below or above if you're upside down. Whatever. The Mark Giordano hit. So Mark Giordano decides he's going to throw the forearm shiver into Sebastian Aho's face. And I follow NHL player safety. It's a good thing to follow on Twitter. Like all suspensions, all plays, all details on suspensions, on why they're suspended, like the Cogliano hit, the Maroon hit, all other ones. Like, I didn't know this David Savard guy got $5,000 for slashing Vincent Trocheck. I didn't know that. But I follow NHL player safety.
Maybe we'll put that link in the description as well.
Well, that's a $5,000 fine. It's a slash. Anyways,
I mean, to the Twitter.
Anyways, you can follow it, and you can follow me. This is where you can find all the things. So I saw the hit, and I'm like, okay, and I'm waiting to get my tweet from NHL player safety, waiting to see it. You know, when's he getting the hearing? Or is he getting the hearing today? Is he getting the call here? Don't hit the table.
I'll hit the table.
I'm breaking the table. Bam! Alex! What? Don't hit the table. Anyways, so I'm like, I'm waiting to see this hit. I'm waiting to see that he's getting suspended for. At least, I made a joke too, and you know what? I don't feel bad because Flames Twitter, they did like one of those interviews. And it said, Mark Giordano explains why he's wearing the number 5. And I'm like, oh, a 5-game suspension? You could have thought.
He deserves
that should have been at least 5. And here's the thing, I know...
I wouldn't say it wouldn't go at least 3 games. At least 3 games.
If you compare... This is something I'm going to look up. I'm going to look up how many times he's been suspended for this.
He's only been suspended... No, he's only been suspended once, and it was a $10,000 fine in 2013 for slew footing. He has only been suspended once. Mark Giordano. Why do I want to say Mike Giordano? Mark Giordano, excuse me. And the reason why they decided to not give him a penalty, or excuse me, a suspension, or even have a hearing, is because player safety reviewed the rule, code 48 or whatever, rule 48, and
he knocked him out. If it's saying the point, it doesn't matter. They decided
they determined that initial contact was not to the head. However, it was to the middle of the chest and went up. And we'll talk about this after we discuss this. You know what? Screw it. I'll do it right now. Players nowadays, when we're talking about people that were raised in the late 80s,
okay, let's
late
finish.
80s,
can we just not finish it?
early 90s.
Okay.
I'm saying, okay. And these players, when they grew up and when they're playing, like, you know, when you're first able to hit, you know, your junior hockey or whatever. I mean, I'm not talking like juniors like CHL hockey. I'm talking about when you're playing your club teams, your travel teams, that kind of stuff. When you learn to hit, you think you got to get down and then push out to get that power. What players are doing is they're getting down and they're pushing straight up. They're trying to go for that big hit or whatever that lifts somebody off their feet, makes the crowd go crazy.
And Mark Giordano is a good defenseman.
He's a good player.
You see him go low. He's like crouching like in front of Smith, exactly. And you see what he's gonna happen. He's like ready to pounce, and then he just decides to throw like some up. He throws an elbow. Like, do I have it or do you? Yeah, I got it right here.
You can see in the video he tugged his arm like this when he came up, and I want to say that hit the middle of his shoulder.
Look, he just gives him he follows through.
Well, yeah, he follows through.
He goes for a full-blown sucker punch, it looks like. Just come on.
He didn't sucker punch him. His arm was down here. My point is, ladies and gentlemen, is that...
Good for Justin Williams fighting him.
Absolutely. You gotta.
I hate him because he played for Washington last year in the playoffs, but good for him.
Players nowadays, they need to learn how to hit.
But that's like another thing I say about the Cogliano. That's that split second.
In that case, that was not a split second. Cogliano's hit was a glancing blow, more or less. Kempe was not hurt. He was given concussion protocol because any hit to the head is given concussion protocol. You got to go to the dark room. However, Aho received not only a concussion, which he has to he'll be given at least 5 days to recover from, but he also sustained a low body, more specifically a knee injury.
Well, if you watch it, his knee does this. Well, okay, here's his knee, and like it usually bends this way, and it went like that. It went like even further than it's supposed to.
Needless to say, Mark Giordano should have been suspended for that hit at least 3 games.
No, at least 5 games because I said so. No, I don't know. If the Cogliano hit and the Maroon Grays gets 2 games, that thank goodness I was able to get up off the ice.
Barely.
Should have. I don't understand. I wish I knew. Like you're saying, George Peros, he's a fighter. He understands. He's been knocked out before. Remember the Colton Orr fight, opening night 2013-2014 season. He knows what it's like to get knocked out, and he's seen stuff. Like he should see that it's so apparent. Like you should be able to. That should be. I don't know why in the world that wasn't called. Like I don't get it, but it is what it is, I guess, and we're just gonna have to deal with it because the NHL is on their own little shindig, and they do want to do whatever the heck they want to do. I didn't turn off my mic today.
Make sure you didn't turn off your mic there, buddy.
No, I didn't. Okay, I was trying to tilt it up a little more. Okay, there we go. That's better.
All right. But I think this is a good time, more than anything, to kind of switch over to.
Let's talk about something good.
Yeah, something that's surprisingly good. Something that. Ty, did you know that Las Vegas has a team?
No, it's not Las Vegas. It's just Vegas. Because guess what, Alex? They don't. Well, how do I say this? This is going to sound dumb, but they haven't lost in a long time. They've lost. Their only loss was losing the loss.
Get off my show.
They only lost the loss.
Get off my show.
That's the only loss they've had.
You need to walk upstairs. Get out of my show.
They are
off. No, I will turn your mic off and you go. That was awful.
Did I earn a loss?
No.
Did I earn a loss?
Okay. Let go of me, heathen.
Anyway, but but yeah. So the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm sure if you are a hockey fan watching this, you pretty much know that Vegas is really good. They are the number 1 team in the Western Conference right now.
They're phenomenal. No, and aren't they the best team in the league?
No, Tampa is by a long shot.
Well, and then again,
no one's catching them.
Tampa's basically God had a sore thumb. He's like, oh, got better. Thanks, Tampa.
Yeah, like they were bad last year because Stamkos was out, and then they pretty much kept this. Oh no, excuse me, they got rid of Ben Bishop. That's all they did. So I'm trying to look up because I remember.
Sometimes it is a situation like that where one player or players, it deems them to get better. There's always situations in a locker room when, obviously, if you have a goalie like Ben Bishop, he has a record of being good and he has a record of being bad.
When he's good, he's good. When he's bad, he's awful.
But one thing I have heard of Ben Bishop is that he's not the best locker room person. He's not, and I don't know if it's
that is why
I don't know if it's the situation of he's a goalie, so he secludes himself too much or whatever. Or maybe he has a bad attitude.
Alex, we were talking about Vegas. I know we're gonna go. If we're gonna go on the Tampa love triangle, can we wait until they clinch a playoff spot a month before everyone else does?
Back to Vegas. Sorry, I got lost.
You got lost in the Vegas because there's no lot. Anyway, I don't know. I still want to know how that happened.
What, Vegas?
Why they didn't get the Las Vegas? Was it just too much for the? Instead of VGK would have been LVK? Or LVG. Oh, you can't. All right, you don't want to have a
Vegas. Vegas just sounds better. Vegas Golden Knights.
Vegas, the Vegas, not Los Angeles. Vegas. Even though isn't Las Vegas isn't that the Vegas?
Yeah, that means the in.
So pretty much just call themselves that, but they're just changing it. But so, anyways, the biggest thing about Vegas is how they've taken over the city. I remember I was like, oh, it's the first game of the year. The first game they play, they win, whatever. It's great. I'm like, all right, let's see how the rest of the season goes. And then we watched New Year's Eve when the Leafs played. And I've seen highlights of many games. they sell out a lot. They sell out off. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, and here's the thing. I remember I was joking, like, oh, they're just gonna be like, hey, you won the craps table. Here's 4 tickets to the game tonight. Go, and the game starts in an hour. Oh, good, because I didn't have a clock. Anyways,
they are making bank right now.
They're making bank, and well, they had the Fan Fest. It literally looked like WrestleMania weekend. They had like 20,000 people. It seemed like there just to sign autographs. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, they have taken to the city. And like, I will admit, I will say it. When I heard the Vegas Golden Knights, I'm like, I hope they lose every game ever. I hope they never win a game. I hope they go worse than the Ottawa Senators expansion team. Yeah, not the old Ottawa, the Ottawa. The Ottawa that's never won a Stanley Cup. Take those banners down. It's okay. They're going to get sold and moved anyways. Ooh, take that, Melnick. Actually, Melnick wants that. Melnick wants it. It's okay. Carlson's going to sign with the Leafs.
I don't know if they're going to do that, though, Teej.
What, Carlson signs with the Leafs?
No, I was going to say if they don't move the capital to Toronto.
Well, they just need to move the arena. Okay, that's a different story for different time. Long story short, Vegas, and here's the thing. When they did the expansion draft, I'm like, okay, they got Fleury.
Okay, they got Fleury.
Well, because I remember I pulled up, I ranked all the goaltending tandems before the season started. And I feel kind of dumb now because I put Vegas at 13. It was Marc-Andre Fleury and Calvin Pickard.
You done screwed up.
Well, who would have thought they were going to put Pickard on waivers? And then pick up Subban, and then Subban was going to be like, oh yeah, I'm that good goaltender that Boston drafted. I can play now, guys. Hey. But I knew Vegas, like, they'd be all right with goaltending. They were going to be all right.
I think Vegas shows the kind of shift in what expansion teams are. And this goes not only for hockey, but in all sports.
I should have taken time to look up the old expansion rules, like how it worked, but because they did the old, how teams protected players, because you had to be you can only select so many guys this time. So that's why they were able to get like a James Neal, or
when they picked James Neal up,
or Riley. Well, you knew James Neal was going to get picked because guess what? Nashville was not going to.
They weren't going to protect him.
Nashville does not have enough money.
They're
going to have to pay PK. They're going to have to pay Ryan Ellis. They just paid Johansson. Now they're going to have to pay Turris now.
Why they traded PK for Weber makes no sense.
Mark Bergevin. And whatever.
Vegas.
And whatever. Anyways, but yeah, you know what? And now I will say this, I'm glad. I am glad they're doing well because now here's the thing. The NHL has got to be like, yes, it worked! Because guess what?
Seattle.
You have Seattle. You are, if the Vegas makes the playoffs, because here's the thing. Now, if the rules stay the same, where Seattle will get the first 4 picks of the next 4 drafts, lottery picks, so they get in the top 4, just like Vegas is, because Vegas has got 3 more years of picking the top 4. Woo! So guess what?
Vegas!
You know what's going to happen? Vegas is going to get Rasmus Dahlin.
Oh no!
Because of course they have enough defensemen already.
If Vegas gets Rasmus Dahlin, it's over.
I'm
calling it. Vegas gets a cup within the first 3 years.
I would rather have Edmonton get Rasmus Dahlin.
Vegas gets a cup in the first 3 years.
Okay, that's
it's possible.
They're gonna beat the Flyers record. What is the Flyers? 67, so 7 years. So they have to beat 7 years to do it.
That's not hard if they keep this up.
But here's the thing about Seattle. You are almost, if the rules are the same, if the expansion, like the way you pick the players, the way you get the first 4 picks, guess what? The NHL is guaranteeing that $650 million they're asking Seattle.
Timeout. Calling it right now, fans. Seattle Metropolitans. Calling it right now. Time in.
So I'm just saying, it's gonna, they are guaranteeing money right now.
Oh yeah.
It's good for the league, and well, of course, it won't be done because the key arena expansion, which puts in 2,000 to 3,000 seats, so it's either gonna be 17 or 18,000 in the arena. It won't be done until 2020. So
they're gonna have 2 Trons, they're gonna have 2 triangular scoreboards.
Triangular scoreboards? You mean?
Yeah, no, triangles. Their scoreboards are gonna have. Well, from the sketch plans that they have sent to the NHL and have been agreed upon, is that the arena is going to have not one big scoreboard. They have decided that as a better fan experience, they will have 2 triangular. Well,
don't forget they're trying to bring an NBA team. They're trying to bring the Sonics back too. Yeah. They have a better chance of bringing back the Sonics.
The hockey team will be better than the basketball team, but
yes, because NBA is just you're either really good or you're really bad.
They're dying, but they're going to be more like oblong triangles. So oblong triangles where the like short side is going to be kind of like that, and the shorter side will be facing.
I didn't do the DDP. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to discuss it, but we might put a link into the or an image or something.
But I'm just saying, it's just back to the point of Vegas. Is like it just shows that don't touch my give me my coffee.
Talk.
No,
talk.
Well, let go of my arm. I can't talk while I'm being distracted by you holding my arm. Give me my cup. Thank you.
Ugh.
Well, yes.
Is that a triple double?
No, it's a double.
Oh my goodness.
At least I don't get. You also get an extra super large with 400 sugars. You do.
No, I don't.
You get a triple.
No, I don't.
You have before.
I did once.
Yeah.
When I got an extra large, but if I got an extra large, I got a triple.
And if you know any better, an extra large is the same amount of coffee as a large. They just make the They just make the cup skinnier. You know this.
It tastes good.
You changed. You paid good. 12 cents more for the same amount of coffee.
Tasted better.
Anyways, that's where they get you.
Gonna get you.
But it's just teams. Now here's the thing. Now I'm gonna say Quebec City already has the arena. They just got to put a team in it.
Quebec City.
Gary Bettman's Eric Lindros. I will say he is avoiding Quebec as much as possible. He is waiting for the Flyers to trade up or something. I don't know. Like, it's so dumb. Like how he's avoiding Quebec City. Do you remember the World Cup prelim game between Team Europe and Team North America? The one they played in Quebec City, in the new arena.
That was a pretty arena.
It was packed to the brim. Like people want it there. It can work now. And if the NHL, unless there's some behind the scenes stuff that we don't see, there's no reason there shouldn't be a team in Quebec City. But now here's the thing. Let me keep going on this expansion. But now you get Houston. If the Rockets owner wants to bring a team in,
Houston won't get a team.
Well, I'm just saying if they were to get a team, it could work. The owner sees them all right, all I gotta do is put $650 million down, and I can get a winning team right off the hop. Or a decent. But now here's the thing: if you get too much expansion, then the talent pool wades out. You're not gonna have many good teams. Then you'll have a Minnesota Columbus thing. However,
what happens with Vegas is that it becomes a 31 team. 31 team standings. You have a lopsided Western Conference versus Eastern Conference.
That's why Seattle will work.
Seattle will work because they'll even it out. They'll make it 32 teams.
16 and 16. Because right now before Vegas was 16 and 14.
And the reason why they gave it to Seattle over Quebec City.
Well, they haven't given it to them yet. Seattle still has to go through with their part.
They still have to go through their part.
Seattle's not for sure yet. They've given them. They said, okay, go for it. You can go now. You can try.
It's that's like saying you married somebody and you become the stepdad of 2 daughters. You basically become their father, but you haven't adopted them yet. They're not officially your daughters, but it's.
To adopt them. It's like the adoption process. You get approved, and then you can go forward with the payments, the choosing the child, all of their stuff. That's kind of what it's more. It's like it's not becoming a stepdad. Stepdad, you pretty much it's like saying I'm a free agent. I want to play on this team. This team right here. I'm gonna win. We're gonna win. It's gonna work better than my last marriage.
Unless you lose. But the reason why they wanted to choose Seattle over Quebec City, which honestly I would not mind if they chose Quebec City.
They're supposed to get a team back in the 70s.
They were.
That would not have worked.
But
then again, so was hockey. California wasn't supposed to work, and it did. Gretzky says thank you. You're welcome.
The point is that the NHL, and specifically Gary Bettman, his concept and his idea is the same thing that he used as a member of the higher-up front office of the NBA, is the expansion of the game versus the bringing on of teams. Obviously, people want a team back in Quebec City. There's a call for it. There's a want for it. However, Quebec already has a hockey market. They have Montreal. Now,
Quebec City. You understand Quebec City and Montreal are.
It's two completely different things. They hate each other. Yes, I know. However,
Montreal is literally just an Anglophone Canadian city compared to Quebec City.
Right, but what I'm saying.
Maybe we'll put a team in Halifax.
It's the same reason why they had a team in Vegas compared to Quebec. They want to expand the game.
No, because the four major forward pro teams, like, all right, we can't put an NBA team there because duh. You can't put any team that has a lot of money because duh. All right, let's put these little broke hockey players in there. Let's see if that works out. Because now, I mean, that may happen now. Now you may get a baseball team there. You may get a football team. Oh, God.
They're not going to have XFL football team. There you go.
Well, they did it before. Vince, if you're ever going to watch this, don't do it. It's not worth it.
Vince McMahon has sold shares.
Just because Fox is buying you out doesn't mean anything. Oh, yeah, did you see that today?
Yeah, I know. Vince, we're not talking about that.
Vince is getting bought out. He's a little, yeah.
He's not getting bought out.
Okay.
He's selling his shares.
Anyways.
But where was I going with this?
Growing the game, putting it in different...
There it is.
Putting it in different cities that's not hockey markets.
Well, that's the point. They want to build the hockey market into being more of a widespread thing. They have done stuff in China where there's a select hockey market. It's not very big.
KHL just got there a couple years back. Give that time.
The KHL is running a lot of the... If you think of the Eurasian Peninsula, if you want to think of it that way.
Yep.
KHL dominates it. KHL dominates it.
No, because if you're talking about Russia, like, the NHL is still as popular. But yes, there's KHL teams, but...
The two top leagues in the entire world is the NHL and the KHL. No doubt about it.
No.
Yes. You tell
me. American leaguers can beat KHLers. Now, will they beat St. Petersburg? Probably not.
Yeah, AHLers can beat KHLers.
You take Dynamo and St. Petersburg out of the KHL, guess what? It's no better than an Austrian league. Or the Swiss league. The Swiss league's better than half the KHL.
There's a reason why the AHL is an affiliate league compared to a league of its own.
Well, yes. That's wonder why the IHL fizzled out.
Yeah, because AHL was on the rise and the IHL was like, well...
No, the IHL... Well, because the IHL was trying to give their players bigger contracts and try to become an independent league like
they couldn't.
Well, they didn't have the stature. They were trying too hard, too fast. They were growing, but then they said, all right, we don't need these NHL teams. We can do this. And they ran out of money.
So, through and through, Vegas should not have worked. They got really lucky.
They got lucky with a good team.
And
somehow.
There was
and
certain situational...
Just for my father's little pleasure, yes, Dad, Gerard Gallant's a great coach. Gerard Gallant's a fantastic coach. He told me on the way here. He's like, oh, yeah, it's because they have a good coach. Yes, Gallant. He's a great coach. Why didn't the Wings get him, Dad? Because guess what? He was in Florida taking a team to the division championship. Actually, I'm not going to get in this debate because he's going to be like, when was the last time the Leafs did it? I'm like, oh, that's all I'm going to hear. So there you go, Dad.
So there you go. So now we have gone over the two topics we wanted to talk about. Suspensions and hits. Cogliano getting 2 games, breaking his Ironman streak of 830, making him the 4th longest record.
Are we going to do the college junior one next week?
Well,
do we want to do a just college one or just junior one, or are we going to do both?
We'll figure it out.
So next week we'll try not to do an NHL one. It'll be talking about college hockey or university hockey if you're up north. No, we'll not talk about U Sports. We're going to talk about NCAA hockey.
NCAA.
It's much better than U Sports, even though I would have loved to have played at Western. Not Western Michigan, Western Muscat.
Yes, I know the Western. Yeah.
Or we'll do a CHL one, which...
Or both.
I will have so much fun with that one. If we have time for both, I mean, I don't know if we will.
We'll see.
I mean, I can go for it. Because you have to go with... Here's the thing, Alex, NCAA. We're going to have to go through all 6 conferences, and then CHL's going to have to go all 3 leagues. We're going to be here a while.
Yep.
There we go.
So, in recap, Giordano hit on Aho, not suspended. Cogliano on Kempe, sadly, 2 games.
Sucker punching's legal. Apparently bumping a guy and accidentally catching his nose is suspendable.
And then Maroon on Doughty, no injury, 2 games. And then Vegas.
Vegas is...
Good on you.
Good on you, Vegas.
I'm as a hockey fan, I think as a hockey community, we can all be proud of the Vegas Golden Knights.
And I will say I was wrong. I will admit it. I was wrong, and I will take it. You know how much I was happy when their video failed when they tried to introduce the team? I was so darn happy. And I'm like, all right, they're going to lose every game, but then they start off against Arizona, so of course they were going to win. So they got a good start.
I was out driving around, and I was at a gas station. I actually saw somebody wearing a Vegas Golden Knight shirt, and I might actually do that. I might actually go get a Vegas Golden Knight shirt. I'm not saying I'm going to hop on the bandwagon.
Go get your Metropolitan shirt while you're at it. The Metropolitan.
They have shirts out already. They have.
Yes, they have Whalers shirts out. They have Oakland Seals hats. They have.
It's called Etsy.
They have the old Baron shirts.
There is a reason why on the career mode of NHL, I have created a Seattle Metropolitans team with the old 1917 Stanley Cup, first ever American team to do it, championship jerseys. There's a reason why I got it. There's a reason why they're going to be successful, and there's a reason why they're going to be the Seattle Metropolitans again.
You understand, it's not like the Jets, though.
It's not like the Jets.
However,
it's better.
They could have been a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. If the influenza epidemic did not go through in 1919, they could have beaten Montreal.
They could have.
The Seattle Metropolitans could have beaten the Montreal Canadiens, and they could hold that over for them over 100 years ago.
They could have held it for 100 years. We might not have a team, but we still got 2 wins over you.
Yeah, Blues fans. Seattle's got more championships. At least in hockey.
So,
Tony X, we see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're shutting down.
Oh, yeah, we're doing that thing. Wait, do I have to shut down this time?
You don't have to shut down. Just close the computer.
Yeah!
Alex Kuehl, Tyler Kuehl, The Real Kuehl Show.